podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine, giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. This is another good one. I'm Mike Mountain, also known as Cash Flow Mike. That is my partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO of Dryrun, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
Not too much. This is. I think this might be the first time I've actually broadcast from a hotel room. I know you've had a record of it, but this is probably my first one. So the audio probably sucks. The video is a little dark, but it's fine. Don't care. It's fun, man.
Audio's great, and you almost seem tanner now, right? I mean, where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on there?
Yeah, we are in Southern California. We've been here since Monday. We're here for a few more days. Going to head up north of LA on the weekend and work our way up the coast back to Canada. So it's been an awesome trip so far. It's been just a ton of fun. And now, see, this Thursday, because we didn't leave too long ago, my beard's still trimmed. My head's still. By next Thursday, I'm gonna just look like a disaster. So I might have to find a barber wherever the hell we are. Get cleaned up a bit. Anyway,
shoot, I just saw me. I'm already a disaster. But I've got a seminar I have to go teach next week, so I'll be cleaned up come about Monday. That way, I'll look fresh for Thursday.
Shave everything off and then see what Courtney thinks.
No. Yeah, I will be fired from the house. Right, I would have lost my position here at the house if I shaved. Yeah. Matter of fact, the last time I shaved, it was over a decade ago. Right, just about a decade ago, I shaved. Yeah. Everybody in my family, kids, whatever, they looked at me and go, "No, don't do that." Whatever you just did there, that doesn't look like you anymore.
I keep it short, very short. But believe it, if I take it all the way off, I look really weird, and it lasts like just that day. Once every 2 or 3 years, I'll take it off just for the hell of it, and I feel so weird that I just it's back within a day.
I go back and I show them pictures of me as a trooper, me in the Army and all that, where I couldn't wear this stuff.
Yeah,
and they go, "Yeah, but you were lighter then. You were more in shape. You didn't have this big moon pie face that you got going on now."
Oh, that's cold, man. Oh, man.
Hey, just being real. You know what it's like to be real. That's what we're talking about today. People are stopping pretending, right? They're stopping pretending.
Thank God. It's about time. You and I have talked about this often, like in little bits. It's come out in other topics. We're actually going to tackle it today, and I love this topic because I think it's getting more and more important because we're all inundated with so much fake AI slop. It's becoming more and more important to go, okay, not just be real, but how do you be real? How do you represent your business and have people actually believe that it's you and that you're real? So yeah, we're going to tackle it. Before we do, what are you drinking today?
I have a Neighbor Pat special. Actually, well, it's a Neighbor Pat a bring down special, not a brew special. But he brought down some All-Stop. Now, you've seen that I've had some All-Stop before in the past. Mm-hmm. This is a Bach. This is a company, the brewery's in Fredericksburg, Texas, right? And if anybody knows that area, it's in hill country. It's known for being, wine country. People go up there on wine trips. They get married there. They got lots of little cool villas and hotels and shops. And the Christmas is just what you would think. Small town.
Cool.
Heavy German influence on a lot of things from food. I mean, you can probably see it in the. Yeah. So it's really one of those cool little towns. So if you come to Texas, make a trip to Fredericksburg as part of your thing. So Neighbor Pat brought this down. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
That looks awesome. We're actually, I think in the next day or two, we might be stopping in a little town that's kind of I looked online and it's kind of a German-esque little town in California, Cambria. I'm pretty sure that was the one. I was looking at 3 or 4 different towns and it looked like a little German town too. I'm like, well, that's kind of neat. So we're gonna venture over there, I think, and give that a try. So what I did today, okay, I went way off the mark here. This is local. Brewed local completely minimal ingredients, but it's California kombucha. And I thought there's nothing more Californian than some kombucha, which is a fermented tea, fermented black tea with some green tea. It sounds weird. It tastes like soda. It's sweet. It's fizzy, and it's also healthy, chock full of probiotics, which I need because we keep going out down the street here and drinking beer. I won't be going out again tonight, so I thought I'm going to do a kombucha today for the show.
Well, that's not a beer, right? That's that weird health stuff.
It's a weird health stuff, but it actually says on the bottom, this product is considered a beer and contains natural effervescence. And so I thought,
really?
Yeah, they consider it a beer, but I don't think it.
But not all kombucha is. Right? I mean, Mallory's drinking.
I don't know.
Wait a second. So if Mallory's 19 years old, she's drinking beer? Kombucha, not all of it can be that way.
Well, it says ABV is 0.5. So it's, there's not a lot of, there's barely any alcohol in this. Yeah. No, you know what? Interesting here. It says ABV 0.5 must be 21 or older. That's actually kind of shocking. It's a 0.5%. It's not a 0.05. It's actually a 0.5%. But you have to be 21 or older to get kombucha. Did not know. So very, very light on the alcohol, but it actually is, and it's got, I kind of like the labels. It's really classic looking, kind of
very cool.
It looks very medicinal and you know, apothecary kind of look.
Now, I mean, when I think about that, I mean, that's the type of stuff that's going to put blood in your alcohol system if you're not capable or careful.
It's going to put blood in your alcohol system?
Yeah, you know, like how beer puts alcohol in your blood system? That's going to put blood in your alcohol system if you're not careful.
You never know. It is okay, but it's got at the time of bottling 2.5 billion organisms, and then a bunch of organisms I can't pronounce. So it's got all these probiotics and stuff in it, which is really good. So I'm actually enjoying it. It is actually okay. When I opened it up, I'm kind of like, what am I in for here? And then I taste like, oh, this is really good. It tastes like a bit of a lemonish, a lemon soda-ish, almost like a 7-Up or Sprite. A little bit like that, but tastes better, not so sweet, nice and fizzy. I did not know that I would be a fan of kombucha, and I am, and it's a healthy alternative before we eat probably too many tacos and drink too much beer. So.
Yeah. Well, I had one before and it was absolutely disgusting. It was horrible. I would never do it again.
I tried one time that was like drinking vinegar, and it smelled like vinegar, and it was, I thought, not very good. This is not like that at all. So I guess it depends how they make it and how good they are at making it. But this is actually delicious. I'm really very impressed because I was a little nervous trying it because I've had a couple before that I really liked, but this one's actually really good. So there you go. If you are in California, GT's Classic Kombucha, it is considered a beer. It says right out there on the label. Delicious.
Yeah, but White Claw is considered a beer too.
That's true. There's probably a few. Well, I would say the same thing with Coors Light, but I see you drinking that all the time. So.
Well, you know, hey, you know probably who would like kombucha? Maybe Karen Hairston, one of our beer sponsors. She wrote a book called Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profit. She's an Amazon bestseller, and she supports the show. She gets in at the beginning of the year, supports the whole year. She says it's got to be the best $5 she spends per episode just for that type of exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Karen. And just go to mikeandblaine.com. If you want to sponsor, it's $5 an episode, mikeandblaine.com, or we have a new email address, beer@mikeandblaine.com. So you can actually just email us. If you have ideas, show ideas, you want to sponsor the show, just contact us there. And we got a couple others. Of course, neighbor Pat, who you just mentioned, who's bringing you beer, brought you that beer today. Pat's been a huge supporter for years now. So thank you so much again, Pat. Really appreciate it.
Yep. And then you got the biggest LSU planet or fan on the planet, right? One of our beer sponsors, Devin. Devin over in Baton Rouge, right? You ever listen to how Cajuns say different things, say different words? The Cajun like spin accent that they got on it, where some words, you mean, it does not look like it's pronounced. Yeah. It's a very cool thing to look into. So LSU, Baton Rouge. I'm excited for their football this year. I know he is. Lane Kiffin's coming to town, and there is a lot of excitement around that program over there in Baton Rouge right now.
Nice. Awesome. I don't know what you were saying. Who is going where? I am not up on my college football, but I will take your word for it. So
I think it's going to be an exciting year for him. So we're going to try to get to a game. Texas plays in Baton Rouge at Death Valley this year. So we're going to try to go to that one.
Cool.
Huge game. Texas hadn't been there in a long time, so it's going to be a big one.
Nice.
Now, neither one of us are Texas fans, so can you guess who we're rooting for during that game?
Baton Rouge, LSU, I imagine.
LSU, Louisiana State University.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, right on. So, hey, you mentioned our new email address. I completely forgot about that. The new email address, beer@mikeandblaine.com. It's the best email address I think I've ever had.
That's a beauty, and it's not just about buying us beer, but that is our primary goal. So you can always email us there. And then check out mikeandblaine.com. It's a website that we barely ever visit and don't take care of, but you can buy us beer there. So
somebody was there today. I don't know who's watching us in Prineville, Oregon, but they're clicking on that site all the time, several times a week sometimes.
Oh, nice.
Somebody in Prineville, I'm probably mispronouncing it. Prineville. Prineville, Oregon. So somebody up there is liking the show. Appreciate your support. Hey, let us know. Let us know who you are. Let us know. We can shout out you or your business or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about this topic where you, because we're always into something really topical. Where did you come up with this one?
This one came out of this morning. I did a little thing called sleeping in. I didn't make it to the office till 9. Now that's not like me. Yep. At 11:30, Courtney walks into the office and goes, "You okay?" I go, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "You never really sleep in that late." I'm like, "Yeah, I just felt like it. I just wanted to." So it was one of those things. I'm like, I'm not pretending anymore. I used to be the type of guy that wore, dressed up for work, even if it was a Zoom meeting or something like that. I mean, and now if I'm in shorts or sweatpants or a t-shirt, that's just who I want to be right now. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the suit and tie guy. Even when I teach at the graduate school of banking, I'm not wearing a tie. I'm not wearing, the button down shirts. I'm putting on a polo and going that way. I'll dress up that much for it.
Yeah.
So that's where it came to. Like I see this more and more and more now, where people are just saying, I'm not going to pretend anymore to be something that I don't want to be.
I think it's a good way to be. And I think we've seen it from sort of all areas where I think there's beginning to, not really beginning, it's carrying on more and more of a lack of trust in businesses. And I think and it's not by getting fancier and more glitzy and more polished that I think builds trust. It's the authenticity. And how do we build authenticity into our businesses so that people start to, bring back the trust, right? Bring back the real, because I think people want to do business with people. I know they keep saying pretty soon it's going to be robots, negotiating with robots. Never a little bit of things here and there. People still want to trust, want to talk with another person and have some sort of relationship building. And I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon.
That's funny. You was talking about the robots and so I host 4 times a week. I host office hours. And what I notice sometimes is people will send the robot and them not come. Have you seen that? Where like going, so-and-so's recorder showed up, or so-and-so's Otter, or so-and-so's Fathom, or whatever it is. I'm like going, what I need is somebody to develop a host robot where You're gonna send your robot. I'm gonna send mine, and my
Send
robot
your
can talk
robot.
to your robot, and then just give us give us the notes. What happened?
And nobody's going to read the notes. It'll never. You don't. I get
Never.
these robots show up at our meetings a lot, but it's always with the person. The person shows up, we talk, and they have their notes, and I'll record it as well. Sometimes I get people come in and go, "Oh, yeah, you can turn that off if you want. It just goes on everything." They really get annoyed by it. And but like we have notes taken in ours. I actually do review the notes, so we do use the notes. But to not show up at a meeting and depend only on the notes, to me is that's a person, if they cannot make time for the meeting, they're not making time for the notes.
I go back and forth on that. Meaning, sometimes I kick them out of the meeting. Sometimes I just let it ride. I think it's just a feeling. I'm like, going, we got too many robots, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's just a couple of us, we don't. Sometimes it gets a little personal. I'm like, we don't need robots around here to talk about personal stuff.
Record everything, exactly. So it's they are handy, but they got their place. But to send it alone and not show up yourself, like that's not what it's for.
Yeah,
That's not what it's for, right?
All right. So you and I, though, I'll say, grew up in a different era, right? First of all, I'm going to say this stop pretending thing. I'm going to give credit, not blame. I'm going to give credit to the youngest. What is it? I don't know, millennials or below millennial, whatever it is. The youngest saying,
Even though now
hey,
it's
they
below,
stopped-
way below that. Yeah.
Yeah, they stopped participating in what you and I thought was hollow ground, meaning that you were professional. You were, always kept me. Everything was just so. It had to be perfection. It had to be polished. It had to be aspirational. It had to be, there was all this stuff in our lives that we thought were the perfect ladder to success of growing and building a business or getting a promotion or whatever that is. And somewhere the younger generation says, hey, fuck that. And I'm like going, and the first time I saw it was in Seattle in 2012 with software developers, right? They said, well, I'm going to dress like you and I are dressed right now. I'm going to put on the hoodie. I'm going to, wear flip-flops. I'm going to, whatever. Am I going? Yeah. And they were still getting stuff done. They were still producing quality work. They were still building great businesses. And they weren't restrained by some of the things that kept you and I, trudging along the same path. I mean, did you notice that shift or
Yeah, I think there's been a massive shift, but I don't think it's all for the better. And I think there's a balance in the middle there. And I'll tell you where I see this show up, because you get these too. I don't know how many marketing emails coming to me a day. And I think they're probably trying to get past the bots and the junk mail and that. But when it gets to me, there is less than zero chance I am going to not spam, like put them in my spam folder. And part of the reason is a complete and utter lack of professionalism. So you've seen them. It's a 1 or 2 sentence email, and then they'll use maybe just their first name, half the time not even capitalize it. But you know what's missing? What do you call it, the citation, or the on the bottom, where it's like, here's my full name, here's how you contact me, maybe there's a logo from my business, all the things that says this is exactly who I am, I'm credible, you can double check, you can do all that. That's all missing. And somehow they think that I'm going to hire someone after I get something that looks kind of like a text message from someone I don't know. No, they're getting spammed. It's not like I would respond but there's at least some level of professionalism you can look up and see, like, who is this person, right? And validate.
Well, I mean, what's become now is that we question everything. It's just as you say, we question it. I mean, like, who is that person? How did they get my name, or why am I this? I am more likely now to go report phishing, report junk.
Click,
right?
Always.
Every day. I wasn't like that before. I would just delete it. I'm like going, you know what? I'm getting tired of it. It has to be reported. So I like, and you said it isn't always good, right? I like some of the just letting your guard down, being who I am. But sometimes there's a missing link that I think, which is the judgment. Meaning that honesty is okay, but if you don't have good judgment to go along with it, you're creating more noise. You're creating a problem, with your honesty and your oversharing or your negativity, or you're being too cutesy and too casual.
Well, and I think you get into trouble when you skip steps. So, hey, being a little bit more personal and all of that makes sense when you actually have some sort of relationship with somebody. And then you can be more personal and you can be maybe more comfortable and you can be more real. But you have to get to that point. You have to actually get past that introductory point. You have to get to the place where someone will actually talk with you, will trust you, will and it's like asking for a marriage proposal before you've even met somebody. Like you it's the timing, the pace, everything is all wrong. It's not going to work. It just simply is not going to work because you're just sending out vibes that you think are saying, "Hey, I'm real," and what you're saying is, "No, I'm." It looks really fake. It looks so sketchy. I do not trust you until you get to that point and you've earned the trust. So that's when you can actually start doing that after you've earned the trust, right?
Have you ever though went to somebody after the fact, after you had a business relationship, and then told them, says, "Hey, I almost didn't move forward with this because of three things you did or something you did"? Have you ever just called somebody out, not called them out,
Yeah.
but I mean, I did it the other day. I'm like going, "Do you realize that every time you call me, it comes up as spam likely? Do you realize your phone number that you use, other people
That's
think
not
it's
good.
spam, and I know it's not spam because I know you."
Yeah.
But you need to know whatever you're doing, it looks like spam. So if you're having problems getting through on phone calls or problems getting through an email, like I had that today. A guy could get this is really weird. Northern Iowa SBDC, some college up there. And the guy and I have a legitimate business relationship. Matter of fact, he won a year's membership last year at the America's SBDC conference, and we're just trying to get the guy set up, set up, going, those type of things. I send him the invitation to the app, to the membership, those type of things, to his work address, which is the college address. It's a .edu, and doesn't get it. And finally I get a thing back saying it was rejected for spam. Right? Outlook could do that to you. I'm like going,
Yeah.
spam? I've never even sent this guy an email, and I sent
Yeah.
it from Mike at to his John at, and couldn't get through. So I'm like going, well, I wonder if it's just because I'm a business domain, right? Because all my emails generally go through. So I switched to a Gmail, just my personal Gmail account, send it to him, and it goes through immediately. I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't even make sense.
No, it
That a
doesn't.
spam filter would go, the legitimate business that's out there, block that one. Random unknown from
Yeah.
Gmail, let that one go through the spam filter.
Yeah. Makes no sense at all. And there's the one area that I think is so seems like it's so massively behind, and they have not done anything with all the machine learning in the world and everything. How can these spam filters still be so bad? I swear I get messages that some of these ones that they annoy me because it's like a one sentence just looks like a scam all day long, and I will spam them. And then I'll get another message back in. Hey, what did you think of my first message? And I'm like, why is this not in my spam folder automatically? It is so bad at it. It can't even figure that out. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, this guy, he goes, yeah, that happens to me all the time. And then an hour later, I get this, oh, by the way, you got this thing we thought was spam. Did you want it? Usually it's too late by the time I got it. Like we were going to meet.
Yeah.
I'm sending him a meeting link. That's all we're doing is getting a meeting link to him, and it blocks it. An hour later, past the meeting, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's just too late.
something's still broken. And I was okay. Little bit of BS, but it is completely related actually. So yesterday I went and I used Apple Pay to pay for a few nights hotel, and it got declined. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm trying to get it. It got declined. And so I phoned the bank and I'm like, where the hell are you declining? That was nice, but I was a little bit annoyed, right? And they said, oh, because you're over the maximum, you can only do, I think it was like $250 on Apple Pay. And I'm thinking, that was a stupid decision made somewhere in a boardroom. She goes, you have to use the physical card. The physical card, the thing that people can get hold of and that can, swipe under the counter. And it is a complete, like, there is almost no security on the physical card. And I have biometric security. I have face. I've got, like, it is so secure on the phone. Boy, they got something backwards. It's like, let's take the secure one, we'll put a cap on it, and you can use the really insecure one for the stuff that's not a cap. I don't get it. It blows me away.
That makes so much sense now, because I keep telling Courtney, I'm like going, do you use Apple Pay? She goes, yeah, I use it all the time. I'm going, dude, it gets declined every time I'm trying to use it. I stopped using it because I'm like going, I can't do. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to use the cash that they give you. You know how sometimes they give you cash, like Apple Bucks or Apple Cash?
Oh, yeah. I don't have the actual, we don't get it in Canada. I have just my my other Visa cards on my phone, and I'm using it through that. But it's Apple, through Apple Wallets, I guess. Maybe it doesn't fit. It's not the actual Apple card.
Oh, okay. So I don't know how I get that, but it's like $85. I'm like, I just use this $85 to buy something. Shit, I cannot figure out how to use it. Finally, after a month, and not a month of like total searching like every minute, every day, but after a month, I figure out how to transfer it to my bank account and hit the bank account. I'm like, okay, that's how I'm gonna use it from now on. I'll just use my debit card. I'll just transfer those Apple Bucks, right into my account. So
yeah,
kind of cool. So,
it is, and it's but it there's something broken when the things that should be secure are not. Gmail addresses get through, which is the absolute, like, the scammers, paradise using Gmail and things like that. But a corporate email can't. That's something really bizarre about that. Like, and AI could actually go visit your site. It could visit all the things connected to your site and go, obviously this is real. It can do that, and it's not, and they're letting your Gmail through, which is bizarre.
Yeah, so you're talking about the AI, right? Can't determine real from pretend. And all right, so I ran these Google ads. It went through, got approved, all this type of stuff. And all I'm saying is things like find hidden cash in your business. I mean, stuff that I can actually do. Stuff that my app can actually do. And all of a sudden, after about 3 weeks of running this ad, it gets limited and then blocked for false claims. Am I going, what's a false claim? Everything that I have numbers, I approve all of these things, and I'm not even saying anything in the headlines or in the text making a claim. But when they see cash or money or business or that type of stuff, there's something in the AI that goes, they can't guarantee any of that. I'm going, yeah, I'm just doing math. I can guarantee with math, right? That's all it is. So it's I don't like it, but I don't know how to get around it.
Yeah. Well, it's well, you and I have got caught recently in some of the other filters as well, and so I guess that circles back to people being real, and you can only do so much trying to be real when the bots throw barriers in front of people trying to be real, people trying to act human, people trying to build trust. And they seem to award, like a Gmail account more than anything else. Now, what I will say is one of the things that I suspect, though, is you said you sent with your personal Gmail. Well, the flip side of that is they know everything about what's going in your Gmail account. So that's the other thing, because I know that I've seen it where suddenly I'll get ads for things, and I'm like, yeah, I think you sent me something on a beer, and suddenly there's a beer ad, right? Like there's something very it's not public, but it is not private. It's not secure when the service I'm using just goes through, it seems like, every letter that's in there. And there's something that I think really disturbing about that too. And I'm starting to consider using some other systems because of it, just more out of the principle of the matter, because it annoys me.
Well, let me ask you this. All right. I went through a phase like with sales, right? Just sales, where I thought that it was always kind of not honest, right? It seemed like, I mean, even now when I hear people on their sales techniques and things like that, I'm like, you're just not being honest. You can tell by the way that they're handling objections. I always thought the handling objections wasn't being real, right? So my way to handle objections is, yeah, this is what we do. When you're ready, come back. I mean, that's why I do. That's about as real as I can get with handling objections. Well, the price seems too high. Hey, I understand. All we do is, find hidden cash. And in your case, we found $250,000 in hidden cash, and it'll cost you $300 a month to get it. Using this app, stuff. If it's too much for that, I get it. When you're ready, come on back. That's how I'm starting to handle objections, because I think that's about as real as I can get without pretending like, here's the dollar cost averaging value, all these things that you say to people that I think turn people off now.
Yeah. I've what's I think shifted for me a little bit is there's been times in the last little while it isn't handling the objections, it's actually putting forth objections. So I've had these conversations where I'm talking with them like, honestly, I don't think we're a fit for you.
Yep.
No, and then they're arguing with me. No, I think this might be. No, I actually don't think it's going to be a fit for you. And the interesting thing that I've noticed too is, like I guess our sales process, it's turned into just like, all we're here to do is to educate you and help you make an educated decision. That's what we're here for. And I know we have a really good lead when I'm sort of walking through the app doing a demo, and they just sit there and go, yep, yeah, no, this is what I do all week. That will save me a ton of time. And then they might ask some questions, because it'll be right pointed to be like, can it do this? And it'll be very specific. And I'm like, absolutely, we can. And educating people about the product and how we solve the problem better than a spreadsheet, faster, I know we have a really good lead. I know we have an awful lead when I have to educate them about the problem. If I have to educate them about cash flow, about how they're going to do this, I'm just like, oh, this is not going anywhere. And we've been down this path. I am not here to try and educate you on, because if you don't understand the problem, we don't need to be talking until you do, because it just doesn't work.
Dude, that was so powerful. I can educate you on the product, not the problem. You already got to know the problem.
Yeah. As years ago, we were trying to educate on the problem, thinking we could turn them into like, hey, now you know the problem. Now you can understand. Now you can offer this service, or you can do this or that. No, it doesn't work. It's just educate them on the product and whether we can help solve the problem that they know they have. They understand it thoroughly. They're feeling the pain. And it is simply, this is how we can solve that pain. Anything past that, and I'm like, this is not a good fit. And then I'm not pushing for it to be a good fit.
Yeah, I'm just not going to push anymore. I mean, I'm going to show them how we solve the problem and then decide, right? Like,
Exactly.
will you give me a discount? No, when you're ready, you'll know that this is the right price for this product.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. When we know we have an easier time, when we have the right lead, they'll be paying. They're willing to pay thousands of dollars a month, and they'll go, yeah, this is right. It works. It solves this massive problem we have. And when it's hard to get, you can get almost any price out of some of the leads. It's not a good fit and it's not worth trying.
All right. So remember I gave credit to the, what was I? It's not millennials. What is it? X? No, we're X.
Is it Gen Z now, or is that the latest one? Or is there even one after that? I'll just check.
Yeah, which one started doing? It was right during the COVID. It was young workers during COVID is the one I'm looking for. So think about 22 to 27-year-olds in 2020, 21, whatever age group that is.
Yeah. So the Gen Z is born roughly 97 to 2012. And then there's Gen Alpha, 2013 to 2020. And then Gen Beta, 2025 forward to the mid 2030s.
So Z.
Yeah. So they say Z is considered the first digital native generation. So Gen Z is, I think, that the one that's adults now, right? Like are coming into adulthood now, I think.
All right. So here's what they're just coming to adulthood.
Well, some like 97 would be almost 30 years. So the oldest ones are probably like in that like 30 years old or almost 30 years old.
It's probably
the youngest is 24. Like they're coming into the work.
Right.
No, was it 2013? Way younger than that, actually. Yeah.
That group. I think it's that group that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Because during that time period, we all got kind of stuck in our houses, and some of us had remote work. Right. Remember, nobody could go. Right. So you know, if you're going to work and maintain some type of living, you had to do it remotely. And then a term evolved from the remote work called quiet quitting. You heard that one?
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Which is like going. It was what everybody feared. Every Gen X feared, or even Boomer feared, that if we let them work from home, they're not going to do anything. They're going to be in their pajamas. They're going to be eating peanut butter and watching soap operas, and they're not going to be doing their work. It's what they feared, right? Yeah. And so people started putting more rules, even from remote work, right? That's where all these devices for moving your mouse and things like that, because they tried to track if you were doing any type of activity. Mm-hmm. Because people were doing a quiet quitting, which means they weren't quitting their job. They were still collecting the paycheck. They just weren't doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, that's one of the bad things about stopping pretending. But in a way, you're still pretending, because you're pretending to work when you're not. But it was the attitude of, it doesn't matter as much to me as it does, the person that was born in 1970, who's, running the business, or a manager in this business, or just been at this job for longer. They have a different attitude towards work, where, hey, sometimes you just eat the sandwich and move on. That's the way we thought. I'm like going, man, right there, where they aren't afraid to say, I'm tired of it already. I just started it and I think it's dumb and I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. That's where I think this stopping pretending started. Right? Was with that attitude of, I'm tired of doing this work. It doesn't matter if the government and the world can shove me into a house and make me wipe down my grocery bags, with Clorox wipes. If you can do that, then really nothing else is more important. Mm-hmm. And so I think that started this stop pretending movement that has evolved to what it is today.
Yeah, and I think it's like anything else, a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Like there's good things to it, certainly, but there's the negative sort of blind way of looking at it. I'm not going to do anything, or I don't want to do any work because if I don't enjoy it, or blah blah blah. Okay, not everything is going to be roses when you're working, right? But there's the good side of it, is kind of like it's more demanding of, I want to have a life outside of work. I want to have meaning in my life. I want to do something I care about. I want, there's good sides to it too. Yeah, I hadn't really heard of like thought of it in that sort of way, but I think that generation is quite demanding changes that I think make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. But sometimes I don't know. Not.
Yeah, I mean, I think hating your job has always been there. I mean, it's a job, right? But I think it's more in the open now. It used to be like going, if you and I worked together, we would go out to dinner or go for drinks after work and go, oh, I hated that meeting, or whatever it is. And we would just commiserate, and then we would go back to work tomorrow like nothing happened.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think now that's just being said out loud at any point in time. That's where I'm saying judgment has to come in. Because hey, you burn a bridge because you say that meeting sucked and I hate my boss and those type of things. Then all of a sudden you're creating a different problem, right? That from being real to real.
Mhm.
The other thing that I've seen happening, and I've seen it in big corporations, I see it in a couple of my clients right now, is I don't know what to call it, but I'm going to call it laying flat, meaning that people are okay not trying to get promoted. Oh, shit, good at this, at this job, this position. I don't want the problems or the hassle or whatever of
Yeah.
moving up, right?
Yeah.
And early on in my career, I didn't understand that, but it's not new. That isn't something that's new. That's something that's been around for a long time. Matter of fact, my field training officer, who I love and adore, and just, I mean, this is one of the best police officers I've ever seen. Matter of fact, best men I've ever seen in my life. Refused to be promoted. Refused to even take the test to be promoted. He goes, I don't want that. What the next job entails. I don't want those things. And he was okay not chasing dollars, not chasing a promotion, not chasing the prestige. I'm like going, you know what? I didn't realize it then, because I'm like, oh, that's dumb, because you should be the boss. In my mind, right? In my mind,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you should be the boss. But now I kind of get it, and maybe it took me 30 years to kind of figure it out. But now I kind of get it, where I'm like going, yeah, not everybody has to chase the next step.
Mhm.
It's okay to be, I'm good right here.
Well, and so often I think even businesses will try and push people up past their level of capability just because they've been there a long time. And it fails too. And then you can end up losing someone that was in a really good at their job and is in a position, and they don't excel in that other job. Just because you do one job well doesn't necessarily going to mean you're going to do this other totally different job really well. And you can end up souring a relationship. You can end up setting someone up for failure, and you can end up losing a really good person that was in your business because you just think, well, we got a gap. They've been around the longest. That's kind of, I think, one of those, the opposite, where it's like kind of the worst ways sometimes to promote is just, what does they say, promoting to their level of their incompetence or something like that. There's a phrase, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're always promoted one step above where you should be, or something like that, right? Based on what you can do. It's funny, but and so when I think about this being real, being authentic, people are gravitating towards it. We just had an episode on this, right? Remember with the CEOs that did the things, the reason why, right? The reason why the McDonald's guy got so much flack is that people would look at him and go, that really doesn't sound like somebody that eats that sandwich.
Yeah. Nothing was real about that. You could see that a mile away, right? Like it just.
Yeah. He could have pretended better.
Yeah.
In that case, he could have pretended better, right? But he didn't, right? He was himself. He was not pretending. He was being himself. So, the ones I like the best, because Courtney sometimes will show me influencers about different products and different things like that. The ones that I like the best saying, hey, don't buy this. This is terrible. This broke when I tried to do X, Y, and Z, and they got the proof. like, oh, yeah, I would have probably done the same thing, and I would have broke it.
Yep.
Nobody's really doing that, right? Because everybody thinks it's career suicide. I'll never get a brand to support me if, you know, I don't say the bad things. I buy the product, and the one thing that everybody should be able to do with it, it breaks the first time we try it.
Yeah. I wonder, what if the McDonald's CEO actually approached it like in 100% real? Maybe took the bun off the top, took it a little knife and fork and started, or like whatever was like legit, how he would actually react to something like that. I wonder if people would they might have laughed at him, but I wonder if they would have had more respect, just because it's like, that seems like what that guy would do. Right? Like, that's weird, but that seems like what he would do.
Yeah, most people would have said, they don't even give you a knife and a fork with that sandwich.
Yeah.
That's what I would have said. I said, how do you get the knife and fork?
Yeah, but I'm just curious, like if because it just seems so disingenuous, right? That's what people jumped on. And I don't know, like, does he have to be a better actor, or flip the other way and let's just go like full realism? This is what, I'm trying our own food. I don't usually eat it, but I'm going to try it.
Well, that's when you start thinking, well, is this aspirational or is this out of touch? Right? Because when I started looking at, all right, I've got a picture of me in front of the Google headquarters, right? I went and toured it. I was in there. I mean, I had a meeting at the place. It's everything. You ever seen the movie The Interns with like Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn?
No, but I like both those actors. I may have to check that out. The Interns.
It's funny, right? I mean, they lose one of their jobs and they take an internship at Google, and it's them with no computer experience, no background in software, no anything like that, and they're all competing for a job. The winner of this, it's an internship over a certain number of weeks, and they put them in teams, and you get jobs, right? I mean, if your team performs well enough, right? And so they bring, and they're 20 years older than everybody else that's an intern. Right? They're 40-year-olds that are interns in this thing. So, so think about that dynamic. Everybody around them is like 25-year-olds, fresh out of college, and they're like 40-year-olds that was just selling things. They're good at talking. They're good at selling stuff, and they're good at relationships and people. And the people that build the software, they're just not, right. So there's some yin and yang and some weirdness that goes on, but it's a great movie. You should see it.
Yeah.
But what I forget what I was. Out of touch being that if that's your first job, if that's what you think it is, and you're filming yourself like people do at work, like, oh my God, look at my job. I got a choice between Mexican and Indian and Chinese and steak today for lunch. All those type of things, plus the volleyball courts and everything that they can do throughout the day and the sleep pods. If that's your experience of work you can quickly become out of touch with what the rest of us in our job experience looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is an edge case to the nth degree, right?
Well, this is a podcast, so I have to tell you the edge case.
No. But that's I get exactly what you're saying, but it can apply to all sorts of other jobs where there's something that it's not going to show up in regular jobs. But with them being, let's say you actually had the type of job and they're the influencers and they're the ones online, and do they set expectations based on an edge case that virtually no other business can afford to do?
Yeah, probably. I'm just saying that when you see that, let me just ask, because I've never worked at a place like that. The closest was probably Finograph, where we had some a game type room. We did drone races in the in the office. We did some cool things, right? So what I consider cool that I've never seen anywhere else, and I've never done since.
Mm-hmm.
So does that become the norm after you experience it? Like everything else is judged against that? I mean, in my case, no. I'm not going, because I always thought, and it became this in year 5 at Finograph, in year 5, after doing something like that every month because we had team building where you went and did that. It became a hassle and part of the meetings that you don't want to go to. What are we doing now? Oh, we're doing a scavenger hunt. Okay. It becomes that at some point in time where you just don't like it as much as when you first experienced it.
Yeah. Some of that stuff might sound better on paper than it is in reality. And like I did a tour of an office when a friend of mine worked at a big Silicon Valley company a number of years ago in San Jose, and they had, all the usual ping pong tables, and well, we had ping pong tables and foosball in my last business too. But they literally had a bar, and they had a fridge full of beer, and they had just everything you can kind of think of. I didn't see anyone using any of it, and there probably were kind of mandated times to do things, but I kind of wonder if it would get to the point where, you know what, when we get to after work, I think I'd rather just go out with my buddies to the bar instead of more work stuff at the work bar, because it feels like work, right? So I wonder how much of that just sounds a lot better, and it's good when you're hiring someone and doing the tour. Maybe not super effective actually in the business.
Yeah, that's probably right, because we had that. We had some beers and things like that, and it just didn't get used that much, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I had whiskey in the office, like Mad Men style. Right? Never used it. Yep. Right. Every once in a while, I think probably once or twice a year, the CEO and I would have, a little finger after work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's about it. So I'm thinking this thing, right? My thought was people are stopping pretending, right? And that trend, I don't know that it's really about people being more honest. I think it's about people not being as willing to fake it like they have, most of our lives.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if, like we've talked about this before, everyone wants to be what the main character in their own story, and this how social media is just like, and I think there's also a generation that's growing up that can sense bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's filter is getting more and more hyper focused, and especially now because so much of this is actually like influencer, it's AI, it's all fake. And I think people are starting to get a very low tolerance for that and question everything. And it all comes back to being real. But how do you stand out and be real today when people are so skeptical and have been like, just, seen it, been there, done that, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, right along with that, I mean, for years, we've just played along. Everybody just kind of plays along with it. Yeah, this is just kind of how you do. This is corporate politics, whatever that is. I think people now are starting to going along with the main character theme you just brought up. People are opting out of the script. I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it still comes down to like, even with us, with our business, this is one of the reasons that this podcast, like it's fun. We do it every week. It's just like, it's like a relief. But the side benefit is that we can get exposure online and people can see we're real people. And it's not polished and fake, and it's just real people. And I think, content is a place where you can make content, but it's hard to stand out and look real. And I think it's incredibly important that businesses do that.
My favorite part of this podcast, and I'll say this and I'll be quiet, is that we are no longer, I think in this 1 hour a week, we're no longer pretending that things are better than they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Did we ever do that? We started this during COVID. Like we pretended I had a beard down to here.
When I hear some other podcast stuff like that, I always think that that's probably not true.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think we've ever guided our listener base, which is in the thousands, and millions sometimes. If you want to get in, some of our shorts, million plus.
We have. Yeah. And we just like we got one short. Yeah, it went skyrocket. But the shorts, like every month we get, I think it's close to 100,000 views every month, and we aren't working real hard to do this. So it's but I think people can see in those that we're real, that we're talking about real topics. We're not sugarcoating things. We're not BSing. It's just, it is what it is. And that's what makes it interesting for us to talk to each other, and hopefully interesting for people to listen to it.
Yeah. Hey, if you like this and you want to hear more, you got a specific topic you want us to talk about, email us at our brand new email address called beer@mikeandblaine.com, or you can just go to mikeandblaine.com, buy us a beer, check out the episodes, subscribe, like, tell friends. We have YouTube, right?
YouTube is a great spot too. You can watch us, you can leave comments there, everything else. So yeah, thanks for watching the show. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll be back at it next week. I think I'll probably be somewhere in Oregon next week and looking a little scruffy, I imagine, by then.
All right. Well, we'll see you when you're in Oregon.
All right. Okay, I'll have to get my Canadiana starting to come back already. See y'all next week. I said y'all. There we go.